Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we're going to discuss a measurement system called the Customary System. At this time, make sure that you have your math journal out, a smile, and then your vocabulary packet. Our target today is I can change units in the Customary System. And so let's talk about, first of all, what is the Customary System? Well, it is a system that we use to measure, and it's mostly used in the United States. And it uses measurements such as inches, feet, yards, or miles, and that's to measure length. It also uses measurements such as cups, pints, quarts, or gallons, and that's to measure capacity, like how much space is within something. And then weight, like ounces, pounds, tons. Those measurements are used for weight. And then we also have measurement of temperature, and we use Fahrenheit for within the customary system. So let's look at some of these. For length, and I would highly recommend that you jot down all of these different conversions. Some of them I'm sure you're familiar with, but others I'm sure you have seen it before, but you have forgotten. And so writing down these conversions will really help you with this target, because you are required to know, how many inches are in a foot, for instance, 12 inches within a foot. And FT stands for feet or a foot. And then IN stands for inches. And then how many feet are in a yard? There are 3 feet within a yard. So I can actually figure out how many inches there are in a yard because I know that every single foot has 12 inches in it. So I could do 12 inches plus 12 inches plus 12 inches, and that would equal 1 yard, which is 36 inches. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. And that one, you probably have heard of it, but that's probably one that you need to refresh yourself and refresh your memory with. So please jot that down. For weight, pounds. Pounds is, the abbreviation is LB, and within a pound there is 16 ounces, and OZ stands for ounces. And I know it's such a weird abbreviation because there's no Z within this word ounces. But the other letters that are used within ounces are already used within measurement. And so they chose OZ as the label for that. 1 ton, T, capital T, stands for ton. And so 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. And remember, the abbreviation for pounds is LB. Capacity, we have a few different conversions. The first one is 1 cup. 1 cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces. Fluid just means it's liquid type ounces. Okay, so whenever we measure a cup, we make sure that it's in fluid form so that it fills up the entire volume of that cup, the entire space. 1 pint, PT stands for pint, and 2 cups is equal to 1 pint, and C stands for cups. 1 quart, QT, is 2 pints, and 1 gallon, GAL, is for gallon, and that is equal to 4 quarts. Now, these 4, I have actually a cool method that I use so that you remember all these different conversions. So this is the cool method. This is Mr. Gallon, and he is a visual that really helps me to remember. Like, I have always remembered how many cups there are in a gallon, and quarts and pints. I know how many cups are in a pint, how many pints are in a quart, because I have this visual in my mind. I learn best by some kind of visual, and you may also learn best that way. And so I'm showing you a visual. So Mr. Gallon, this is how he works. He is a little different looking. He's kind of from outer space. He has one body, and and kind of his head is within his body. But this represents 1 gallon. So like 1 gallon of milk would be similar to what his body shape would be and how much it would hold. He does have 2 arms and 2 legs, and those 4 represent 4 quarts. And there are 4 quarts within 1 gallon. Now, he has 2 pairs of hands. Okay, so he's got a pair over here on one arm, a pair over here, and then he's got 2 feet as well, 2 pairs of feet. So 2 here and 2 here. So these hands and feet represent pints. Now, if you count them up, there are 2, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 pints in 1 gallon. And I can also look at this as there are 2 pints in 1 quart. There are 4 pints in how many quarts? 2 quarts. Or I can even say that's half of a gallon. Do you see how I am just looking at this picture and I am pointing out the conversions just by looking at the picture? And I love how he looks in the fact that he is very symmetrical, meaning his arms, legs, hands, and we're going to get to fingers, are all symmetrical on both sides. And so when you draw him, you can visually see what he looks like. And so quarts are first. So 4 quarts in a gallon. There are 8 pints in a gallon. And then our fingers and our toes. He doesn't have quite 10 fingers and 10 toes, but he has 2 on each hand and in each foot. And so if you count up all these cups, there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. There are 16 cups within 1 gallon. Or you can even say that there are 1, 2 cups within a pint. Or there are how many within a quart? Well, here's a quart, and look this way. There are how many cups? There are 4 cups. So 4 cups is equal to a quart. Now, the only thing that's not on here are ounces. And ounces would extend beyond the cups. And the ounces, there's 8 ounces within 1 cup. So this would be 8 ounces, 8 ounces, 8 ounces, 8 ounces. Now remember, there are how many cups? 16 cups. So let's figure out how many ounces are there in a gallon. So we have 16 cups. And how many ounces are within a cup? 8. So times 8, there are 128 ounces within 1 gallon. So please make sure that you get this in your notebook because it's a great visual, and it has been a lifesaver for me to remember all of these conversions. And I hope that it is true for you as well. Okay, so this is what you're going to be doing today. We're going to be converting. We're going to be taking 1 unit of measurement and changing it to another. That's what converting means. And so what we're going to do is we are going to start with 1 unit of measurement and we're going to end with another. And so if you look at this, it says convert 20 feet into inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to put whatever they give us, whatever information they give us, that's our starting point. So 20 feet is given to us. And so I'm going to put it in the start box. And what do we want to end at? We want to end at inches. So we're going to write inches at the end. And I can abbreviate it and just put IN for inches. And so we got to get from feet to inches. So what am I changing to? We figured it out. We got what's given. This is what we're changing to. Now, what information do I know about feet and inches? Okay, so if you look back here, where do you see feet and inches? Right at the top, you're right. It tells us that there are 12 inches for 1 foot. So I'm going to use that information, and we've been talking about how we can set up that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And I'm going to write it like this. It's kind of like writing it like a rate. I'm comparing two numbers, feet to inches, and I'm going to write it two different ways, okay? Because I could say that I could say it one of two ways. I could say that that 1 foot is the same as 12 inches, or I can say that 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. I can say it either way. Now here's my question for you is we have to choose which one to put in this next box. Okay, so we have to choose either this one or this one. Now here's how you know which one to choose. Do you notice how we started with feet? Okay, whatever you start with, I'm going to tell you right now that it will always be on the bottom of the next one. And so look here, where do you see feet on the bottom of the next one? Yep, this one right here. So we are going to put 12 inches over 1 foot, and that is going to be the way that we put it. Now, do you think that it's important for us to choose the right rate? Like, could I use this one and get the exact same answer? Well, let's try it out. Okay, so if I do 20 feet times 12 inches over 1 foot, do you notice that they are actually set up kind of in fraction form? And there's a multiplication symbol in the middle of them. Well, we're going to actually multiply them. So let's multiply. First of all, what fraction is 20? How can I make that a fraction? Yeah, I can put a 1 underneath. It doesn't change the number 20. 20 divided by 1 is still 20, so it doesn't change anything. So now we're multiplying fractions. Now, are there any numbers that we can simplify? Because remember, when we multiply fractions, we're looking for a denominator on the bottom that goes along with a numerator on the top. Well, there's ones on the bottom, so there's nothing really to simplify on the bottom. So we can actually just multiply straight across. So let's do 20 times 12, and that is 240. And 1 times 1 is just 1. So 240 divided by 1, what do you get? 240 inches. So if I convert feet to inches, 20 feet is the same as 240 inches. Okay, so let's do another one. If I have, whoops, next one, Levi mixes 1/4 cup fertilizer with soil before planting each bulb. How many ounces of fertilizer does he use per bulb? Now here's some information at the bottom. It says all beginning information needs to be a decimal to start. So 1/4 cup is what's given to us, and that is not in decimal form right now. So how do I change 1/4 to a decimal? Yep, 1 divided by 4, and I get 0.25. So let's put that in as our starting amount. 0.25, and it's cups. Now, what do we want to end at? Yep, we want to end at ounces, because it says right here how many ounces of fertilizer. So we want to get to ounces. So what do we know about cups and ounces? Well, if we go back to this, there are how many ounces in a cup? 8 ounces. So let's actually set this up. We're going to do 1 cup is the same as 8 ounces. Or what's the other way we can write this? We can say 8 ounces is the same as 1 cup. Now, which one are we going to use as our information in the middle? Correct. Cups is on top. so it has to go on the bottom. Now the reason why it goes on the bottom is because we want cups to cancel out. Remember, if you have, it's kind of like when you're multiplying fractions. When you have two of